Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we are bringing in Nat Alison. Nat, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm so excited. I feel like I have been looking forward to this episode for so long because we scheduled a while back to do an episode and then life happened. It didn't work out, but here we are. We got it rescheduled. Before I talk about what we're going to do today, let's talk a little bit about you. So for folks who aren't familiar, can you give us a bit of a background on who you are, what you do, all those good things?
Right. I am a freelance, mostly freelance software engineer, mostly focused on like front end work, mostly focusing on like weird visualizations and like a lot of mathy stuff, and a lot of generative art, which is what we're going to be doing today. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first thing I saw from you that really kind of blew my mind was you did the polyhedra site that had like every it was like every single
Every
shape that you
shape,
could make,
every
right?
3D shape that you can make that can like transform into each other and like rotate and like squish into each other and stuff. Yeah.
And and I remember seeing that and I just thought to myself, that's a thing that I don't even know how to begin to wrap my mind around how you would build something like that. And I feel like ever since then, I've always seen you working on projects that either make me laugh or make me scratch my head and try to figure out how it works. And those are my two favorite qualities in a creator. So today we're going to work a little bit on some generative art. And for folks who aren't familiar, do you maybe want to do just kind of a high level of what generative art is?
Yeah, generative art is art that you generate with a computer, um, using some sort of algorithm or code, usually with some sort of random seed that you can uh, that you can like specify how it's generated. Um, it's Yeah, it's really pretty broad, and people have done stuff from like very like basic simple shapes to completely wild stuff with like shaders
Hmm.
that I don't really know how to do. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's what it basically is.
yeah, and it's a very cool field because one of the things that I think is a trap that I've fallen into, and I think a lot of us fall into, is we look at code as being it's the thing we do for work. And sometimes you can look at the thing that you do for work and like work on a hobby project and that feels like, hey, I'm playing, it's a hobby. But we don't really look at code, or at least I tend to forget that code is a creative medium as well, where you
Hmm.
can build things that are an actual expression of something that doesn't need to be built with an explicit purpose other than seeing if you can make something that looks cool or makes you,
Hmm.
kind of gives you that sense of like, wow, that's really interesting, or wow, that's incredible. Um, and so I'm always really excited to talk to folks who have remembered that, who have really steered into the creative aspect of coding and using it as a as like a medium of expression as opposed to solely leaning on it as like a way to accomplish work, like very specifically defined work.
Hmm.
So a couple ways that I've seen generative art happen that that really blow my mind is like we had Shar Styles on the show, who is one of the creative coders that uses shaders,
Hmm.
and she helped me put together like we plugged into the web audio API, and then she was showing me how to make the shader move based on what the sound levels were doing, and I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. But then there are also really practical applications of this too, where you can
Hmm.
use it for work. For example, I work with, or I did when I was at Netlify, I worked with someone named George Francis, who does a lot of generative art with CSS and CSS Houdini, and he
Hmm.
had made a thing that you could put in like a number, a random number, and it would generate a similar but different placeholder image for the Netlify blog, so that you had something that was always
Yeah.
unique but
Hmm.
that felt like it was part of the Netlify brand. And so even if you do want to use generative art for a practical work purpose, you can, as demonstrated by folks like George. So at its core, what I guess like what is the baseline thing that you're doing with a piece of generative art? Like because I think for a lot of us we're looking at it, and what I see is you say look at this thing, and I go to it and magic is happening, and I'm like how did you even, like, what's step zero here? Like how do you even get to that point? So kind of what are the component parts of generative art?
The component parts, I honestly don't know. I just take a blank canvas and then I start like messing around with it until it leads to something. Usually you start with like an idea or a core concept that you want to get through. Like what do you want it to look like? You sketch out a couple of samples of like things, or maybe you start with like something data based, where you have to start with data and then you start like molding it and trying to see if you can come out with a way to like turn it into something like pretty. I know you've done like stuff with like data visualization with like Shirley Wu.
Oh, yes.
Um, yeah, I only watched the first episode of that where you didn't actually do any code, so I don't know if it ended up working. I'm sure it did because Shirley is amazing.
I think at this point, Shirley and I have done 3 episodes and we've yet to finish a project.
Wait, you
But they're
haven't
always
finished
so
it
much fun because Shirley is very fun to talk to.
yet? Yeah, so you just start off with an idea, and then you start off with any coding project. You start off with a scaffold, just start running stuff, and then you iterate
Hmm.
on it and see, can I add this thing? Can I add this other thing? Um, until it starts looking like what you want. You can start off with something very simple. Maybe it just like uh, doesn't need a generator at all, and it just generates a very like a fixed thing, and then you put in
Hmm.
a run a random seed in it, and then watch the thing change. And then you put in another one and watch how that changes. And you keep adding more parameters, and add more variation until it becomes uh, extreme, like something that you like. And
Yeah.
then you put it away because you have to do something else and realize, I could come back to this and like add even more functionality to it. So,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you know, the thing that I've always found really interesting about this is that you can make these very what's the computer word, deterministic, where
mhm,
like you said, if you put in a random seed, if you put in the same seed you'll get the same output, or you
mhm,
can make them just run on like you can check the clock and like do stuff
yeah.
based on like time moving forward or whatever, and
Use 1,000 lava lamps in order to generate the seed, like
yeah.
Cloudfruit does.
um Wait, is that a real project?
Huh?
A
Yeah,
thousand lava
Cloudfirst
lamps?
Office has, like, a wall of lava lamps they use for random number generation because 'cause they're sufficiently random enough.
That's incredible. I did not know that. So
I
okay,
think it was Cloudfruit, I don't remember.
so
But
thinking about this from a practical standpoint, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today.
mhm,
And I think we wanted to source some ideas from the chat. So y'all start warming up your thinking machines because we're going to be asking you for ideas. But so let's set some parameters. Now, what should we kind of think as our guardrails for what we want to build today?
um, I think just generally something that would be relatively simple to do with SVG,
Okay, so
because that's what I have the most experience in. If we're really feeling pretty spicy, we could do Canvas, but
let's do
either one of those 2.
let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can do SVG.
Mhm.
And so what I'm thinking is that we'll open up CodePen and we'll just start kind of throwing things in and seeing what we can come up with. And I have, let's see, SVG wise, I have a few things that we could grab, like images or things that I've built in Figma that are kind of small, simple SVGs, or we could do straight up generated SVGs. Um, and I think we could do, let's see, what do you think, chat? What infinite cat fractal? um, let's see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to, while we think, I'm going to get us moved over into the pair programming view. So let me switch this one over here, and then I'm going to get a new tab open and pull that out here. And for some reason, that's teeny tiny, so we'll make that bigger. All right, so this episode, like every episode, is being live captioned. We've got Vanessa from White Coat Captioning here today. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for being here. And that's made possible through the support of our sponsors. We've got Netlify, NX, New Relic, and Pluralsight, all kicking in to make this show more accessible and to just kind of allow me to keep it going, which I very much appreciate. We are talking to Nat today, so let me pull up their Twitter. I'll throw this into the Discord chat for folks. Okay. All right. And we're going to play on CodePen today. So I'm going to come in here. I guess I need to log in again. And I'll create a new pen. And now I don't know what to do next.
Well, did you want to send me the link to the SVG, to the CodePen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are we going to pair program or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you want, let's do it. Let me,
First of all,
let's see. I've done this before and I always forget how to do it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to give it a name. Okay, and then I think, is it, where's the button? Nope, that's not it. What have I done? Am I looking right at this? Where's the button to do the shared one? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So collab mode, and then I'll send this to you.
Oops.
Okay, and then gotta get this wired. There you go. Turn this back on. Editor view. There we go. Okay. So we have a blank canvas, and anything that we do in here is going to show up live. There we go. And so now we can just start putting stuff in here.
So the first thing that was probably a good idea is to have an idea of what we want to do. So chat does chat have any ideas? Are we gonna do the infinite cap fractal spiral, whatever?
We can definitely play with something like that. I mean, maybe the first thing we can do is just start with the very basics. Like, can we get something on the screen where we're generating something with code, and it can just be like circles or something to get the basic ideas, and then we'll kind of refine it from there.
Yeah, we could. Well, first we should have an SVG on the screen.
Let's get an SVG on screen. Okay, so I have, if I get to my Figma, I have a couple goofy things that I've been working on. Which one of these? Here, I think.
Oh, Jason, we're not gonna put an existing SVG on the screen.
Oh, we're gonna make an SVG.
Make an SVG.
I understand. Okay, so all right, so I have an SVG.
I think you need to set the width and the height to a normal amount of width and height.
Okay, let's go with like a 400 by 400.
Okay. Maybe you can like set a border on it to figure out where our boundaries are while it's a blank canvas like this.
I think the most popular debugging tool in CSS,
All
the
right,
the
all
one
right,
one pixel red border.
cool. hmm And now we are going to add a bunch of circles here. So in our JS, probably give an ID to the SVG.
Okay, we'll call it art.
High expectations, setting ourselves for success.
Okay, so then I'm going to grab this document dot get element by ID, and we'll go with art. And now we have it to work with.
Yeah. So if we want to generate a bunch of circles, all we have to do is append a bunch of circle elements in random positions.
Okay.
So let's see. So it's make a for loop, iterate from 1 to how many circles you want.
Okay, let's see if I can remember how to do a for loop. I never write these names. So I is 0, I is
I is
less
less
than
than
how many?
400, same as our width and height. Actually,
Okay.
that might not be a good idea. Maybe let's just do 20 circles. Let's
Okay, you'll do 20.
I
And
plus
then,
plus.
okay.
Yeah, so we want to append a circle.
So do I need to create it first and then append it, right?
I honestly, I'm so used to using like React and like other component-based libraries. I don't remember how to append an element.
So I think what we do is if we set up a circle, and that would be a document create element. And this is where I might be wrong, because once we get into SVG, I don't know if we have to use something other than create element.
I think SVG is basically just HTML,
Okay,
so
great.
I think it should be fine.
And then there is a circle element in SVG, right?
Yes. hmm
Okay. And so
And how do you set
then,
and then you just need to set the attributes to it.
and is it, do I set it straight up like that, or do I have to do like a set attribute? Let's play it safe, and we'll do set attribute. And then the attribute is going to be width. And do we want these all to be
Circles
this
don't have a width, they have a radius.
radius? And is it spelled out, or is it R?
It's R.
Okay. And how big do we want these to be, do you think?
Let's say 5 pixels for now.
And do I need the unit, or can I just put in 5?
No. SVG just automatically assumes pixels.
Okay.
Um,
And then we need to set,
and now we need to set the position, which is where our first bit of generative stuff comes in.
okay.
So it's going to be X and Y. And we are going to do JavaScript, unlike every other language, only has one random function, which is called math.random. So we're going to make, so math.random is from 0 to 1. So we can scale it by multiplying by our SVG width and height.
Okay, so we'll do a math.round, and then we'll do math.random.
Mhm.
And the random then needs to be multiplied against,
The width. So I think it's just svg.width.
SVG width. Okay, and then should I do the same thing?
Yes, for y and height.
Height. Okay, then I think down here we do svg.append append child. Oh, is this gonna work? Let's find out. And then we probably need to set a color on these, right? So
Yes. So for a circle,
is it
it's going to
fill,
be, yeah,
not
fill.
color?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go here and see if we can make it work. I think I broke it. Expected token. Okay, so I did a math.round, a math.random.
Oh, maybe did I break it? No. Um,
Wait, this is
set
all valid, isn't it?
attribute.
Let's try again.
I think so.
Could also just be that this is doing it but not actually working. And that is entirely possible because I just wrote all of that from memory. So inside of our SVG, we have a bunch of circles, but my X and Y are not a number. And that is
Oh,
okay because that means probably this didn't work. Let's console log the width and height and make sure that that's correct.
yeah.
SVG.width and SVG.height. Okay, so I think maybe it needs to be like get attribute. Whoa, what did I just do?
Oh, right. It's Canvas that lets you automatically access the width and height
Okay.
SVG. So I think get attribute should work.
Yeah, get attribute
Does it
looks
work?
like it's working for us, which is
All right.
great. Okay, so maybe what I'll actually do just to make this easier is we can set these up as just even like W and H. Because that'll keep our math a little bit, our code will be a little bit less intense out here.
Make it H. Okay.
Yeah, H and W. Okay, so we're closer now. No errors, but something still didn't work. And that something is...
Let's see. The circles are there.
The circles are here, but they're
Is
not
it?
actually visible.
Oh, I think it's Rx and not R, and not X and Y. Is that? No.
Should be like force code one and see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's CX.
Oh, okay.
For center X,
That would
SVG
make...
is a very consistent and logical spec.
What gives? Where are you at? Where are you at? This is always the
SVG,
hardest part, is like
CY.
getting through the initial...
I know.
Okay, so these still aren't rendering. Do they need some, like, do they need anything that we haven't provided to make them render? Because they don't look like they're showing up on screen at all.
Yeah. If I try to stroke, that doesn't seem to be working.
Just gonna hard code one and see if I can do it. So we're gonna set a radius to 5. We'll set the CX to 200, or 100 is fine. CY of 200.
Okay, that seems to be working.
Okay, so that one's working. So why wouldn't these ones want to work?
They're just very shy circles.
I swear I did this and found the issue. Like there was something I was doing. I wonder if it needs to be, if it's something to do with us like adding it after the fact and we have to... Do you think if we try to create the SVG on the fly as well, like maybe if we do a div ID container, and then we can actually create our SVG in here. Let's try this and see if it'll do it. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to get our container. And then inside of our container, we want to create this. So I'm going to copy this one, and then we'll comment it out, and then we'll just const SVG equals document dot create element, and we'll make that an SVG. Then we will SVG dot set attribute width, and we're going to make that 400. We'll do the same thing for the height. Okay, and then we'll continue to add these pieces here, but then what we need to do is we've appended to the SVG, and then once we're here, we'll container.append child SVG. If I remove you, what do we get? We get nothing. Okay, what have I done? Chat, do you see it?
I wonder if it's something CodePen specific.
Oh, that would be interesting. SV is not defined. Is that, did I typo up here somewhere? SVG, SVG, SVG. Okay, so we're not getting any errors anymore. And we're also not getting... There's our container. There's our SVG. Somebody's suggesting a view box.
We can try it, but also I think that would have made the other thing not work as well.
So strangely enough, it is appending now, but it's set to, like, it doesn't have a width. So it's coming out as 2 and 20 for reasons unbeknownst to me. Do we need, maybe we need to set it to, this can't be right. No?
It might just be a CodePen thing. I don't know.
Oh, interest. Okay, so Jacob Bolda, it's the SVG has this like weird create element namespace thing. So I'm going to do this one, and then now are you going to do it? Aha! Okay, so we're closer. We're much closer. And
so we have to do create element namespace for everything.
Oh, don't be like that. Okay, so we'll do.
I shouldn't be like that, or they shouldn't be like that.
The SVG shouldn't be like that. Now are you doing it? Aha! Okay. Thank you, Jacob, for the save. We did it. Okay, so now we have randomly generated art, and every time we save, it should replot differently. Look at it go. Okay, so this is, I mean, obviously we're not going to be submitting this for like a gallery or something, but we've just created actual generative art here where we're making something on a canvas that didn't exist through code exclusively.
And like, who says we can't submit it to a gallery? I'm sure you can just say this is a piece representing the human condition. And the indictment of an indictment of the bloodshed during I don't know. I don't want to get too morbid with it, but yeah, we have SVGs, we have circles.
Chris Biscardi is saying the separation we all felt during the pandemic. That is, yes. All right,
I don't know, some of the circles aren't properly socially distanced.
These ones were pods.
I see.
Okay. All right. So, but this, I mean, this is super cool because this basically means like what we've done here is what I feel like is the sort of the root of how the rest of this is going to work, because now that we've got the ability to create a space and then place things within that space, the rest of it sort of becomes identifying what we want to accomplish and not so much how we're going to accomplish it, like how we're going to get it on the screen, which is very, very fun. So let me close this down. What do you think we should do next?
So where I usually play around with it is I see what things can be randomized in a sense. And so right now we're only randomizing the position, but there's so many attributes about the circle that we can randomize. We can randomize, let's say, like the radius. Right now we're setting a radius of 5, but we can like change that. I made a handy dandy random range function.
Yes.
So we don't have to. So maybe we can try setting the radius to something. Pick a minimum and maximum radius
Okay,
that you
so
would
we'll
like.
say minimum is going to be 3, maximum will be 10. And it's
Nice.
already significantly more interesting.
Yeah. Maybe you can change how many circles generate. So instead of fixing it to 200, maybe you want to go from like or fixing it to 20, you want to go from like 10 to 100.
Okay, so we'll do another one of these and somewhere between 10 and 100. And now on every save, we will get a slightly different setup with a different number. Oh, that's so cool.
And another thing we could do is change the color of the circles and randomize, make it a rainbow.
Oh, yeah, because
It's-
colors are just numbers.
Colors are numbers, man. Everything is numbers.
Okay, so then we can set up like a fill. How? Let's see. We should do this with what, like HSL maybe, or what? What's your preferred
Yeah,
for?
HSL is great.
Okay, so maybe what we can do is just set the. Will HSL work as a fill on these if I do like just drop in
Fill
an
is
HSL?
just a CSS color property which accepts
Excellent. Okay, so
RGB, hex, HSL, LCH.
we can do one of these, and then we'll set the first one will be a random range between 0 and 360 because we get 360 degrees. And then for these, maybe we just go like set for now. And then we'll make them all like that. And then I guess we don't really need didn't really need that extra fill piece, but we can drop it in anyways. Why not? And then we'll set the fill to be fill. And then this should give us like random colors. I screwed it up. Oh, I'm probably overriding it.
There you go.
Yeah!
We got
Look at
different
that,
dots.
y'all. I want it brighter. We need brighter colors on this stream. That's too bright. How about this? There we go. Nice bright colors. Lots of fun. And now we want bigger circles because we have bright colors. This is wonderful. So, and like we could, if we wanted to, restrict this to, you know, selecting from a set of colors. Like if we wanted to do it on a color theme, we could pick, you know, 15 colors that were allowed and then generate a math.random to choose one of the, you know, the 15 colors by index. And then we'd be able to grab those out as well. So yeah, oh man, this is so much fun. All right. What else? What else you got? Is this considered the Canvas API? No, we are generating SVG straight up. You could do something similar to this with the Canvas API, but it would not be like it would work differently.
It would work differently. It wouldn't be scalable. This is infinitely scalable right now.
Oh, that's a good point. So we can take this and let's see, we'll go display block. We'll make it margin like, I don't know, 20 pixel auto. And we'll set the width to be 90%. And then maybe the height is auto, and that should keep it square. No. Yes. Haha.
Mess it up. I'm trying to do. Okay, who cares about semantic HTML? I just wanted to make a joke. I don't J Langstroth.
Yes. Okay, but I do think, is it randomizing weirder now because we did the auto?
Oh, right. Yeah,
Because you
because we did
should be.
auto. The width and the height are changed. So we need to get. I
Because
think
we
we
can't.
can.
Yeah, because it's an SVG.
Hold on. Yeah, we can go back to like.
Oh, right, because we fixed that thing.
Yeah.
So we can take this
Mhm.
here.
Yeah, and
And what
change
is
it
it?
back to get.
XMLNS. Right?
Yeah.
And then we'll take this piece here. And then we can take that out. And this out. And this out.
And undo the setting the attribute.
Yes. Okay. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Because we're setting the attributes by width and height instead of.
I have a theory. We're going to see how correct this is.
Oh.
No. Okay. So maybe what we can do is just hard code these because
Yeah. Let's not bother.
yeah.
We're gonna keep the view box the same.
Yeah, so we'll keep the view box the same and that way it should scale with us. Yes, there
There
it
we
goes.
go.
Okay. So what just changed here for anybody who's never seen this before is we just set the coordinates for how big the SVG is instead of hard coding the width and height. So everything within it is plotted on a scale of 0 to 400, both left to right and top to bottom. And the width, now it'll scale now. So everything here is consistent to 0 to 400, regardless of the actual width and height of the SVG, which is very, very useful and one of the reasons why SVG is so dang cool and powerful.
I just messed it up. I tried to be fancy and I tried to like get the attribute, the view box attribute, but
Well,
is it
that's
split?
there
There we
we
go.
go. Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. And now it's bulletproof. Okay. So no matter how we switch that up, it'll continue to work. And look at that. That's super cool. Okay, so now we have adaptive, responsive, generative art. Yes. Is everybody else feeling like a genius right now? Because I'm feeling like a genius right now. Put it in. Can I print this out and put it on my fridge? Yes, you absolutely can. Nice. Yes, I'm having fun. Okay, this is great. So, so now we have, we can continue to mess around with this. Let's say we want a minimum number here of, we'll say 50 because they're Dippin' Dots. You want more.
More circles, the better.
And where do you start to see, like when you're building out something like this, where's the number of elements where you feel like you start to get into the danger zone for like crashing your browser?
Crashing the browser. Browsers are pretty good nowadays, and so I think I've had like projects with like 2,000 or more SVG elements, like almost 10,000, if they're
Oh,
like
wow.
simple enough. But once you get to that point, you have to like do tricks. You have to be like, okay, maybe I'll have to like put some of these in like the CSS instead of like as
Mm.
attributes, or maybe I need to like be really careful about like how I handle opacities and stuff. But SVG is generally pretty powerful nowadays, especially if like, yeah, and if like you use a framework like React or Vue, there's like other tools to help you like memoize and like make that even more efficient. And as always, if it gets too much, Canvas can handle a lot more. Um,
So we're probably safe
so
with like a few hundred, probably don't want
yeah,
to get into a few thousand, but let's
I'd say
just
we're good.
let's throw in 500 and see. Pew! And now that there's so many, we'll make them
Mhm.
smaller. Yeah, this is super. Like, and you can like just with these little tweaks, you get something that feels very different, right? And I think that is such a fun way to approach this stuff. Um, and so from here, we could theoretically, um, we could do something like circles sometimes, and then maybe we throw something else in every once in a while.
Mm.
Um, let's see, what should we throw in? Maybe what we can do is there a good way to check, like what's a good way to grab a small number of like I guess we could just check if it's um what's the percentage sign is a modulo, like if we could check like
Yeah, a
modulo
modular. Mhm.
17 or something that's not going to have a ton of matches, and then change them to squares or something like that.
Yeah, we could do that. I noticed that your shirt says like square boys, round boys, pointy
Yes.
boys. Maybe we can have square boys and round boys and curly
Yes.
boys and pointy boys.
Yes, let's absolutely do that. Okay, so
Um,
to do that,
yes.
is there a text element in SVG?
Yes, there is a text element in SVG.
Okay.
Did you want squares or do you want like brackets? Do you want it to be
Let's do
all
let's do
brackets?
brackets. I actually that'd be
Let's do
really fun because then we
brackets.
can do like a little
All right,
code.
yeah.
Okay.
Like everyone's done like circles, but brackets, that's new territory. That is high avant-garde art right there.
And that is what I live for. Okay, so I'm just gonna put all of the different bracket types um, into a thing, and then we'll just randomly select them, right? If I can type, please let me type. Do one of these. Oh my god, this is gonna take so long. Then we can do one of these. Oh my goodness. Nobody look at me. I got a ortholinear keyboard and I'm still a little shaky on some of these options. And then you. And then we need what? Parentheses and then we're done. Okay. So now we have all the different options. We've got curly boys, we got pointy boys, we got square boys, and we got round boys. And we can start throwing these onto our canvas here. So
Mhm.
to do that, we need a text, right? So if I'm just going
Yeah.
to comment this out for now. And we need text, and that'll be document. I'm just going to copy paste this piece. That's text. And then we need, a lot of this is going to be sort of similar, but not exactly the same. So we need the text dot is it going to be X and Y for this?
Yes, it's going to be X and Y.
Okay, so we'll take this one, set it to Y, and set this to height. Okay, and then is it an attribute for the text, or is it like the inner text?
It is the inner text, so it's dot set text
Equals, and then we're going to take a bracket options, and we want one of these, and we'll do a math.round times math.random times, oh, no, we need to do not a math.round, but a math.floor, because we don't want to go above the number. And then we'll do bracket options dot length, and that gives us one of our different bracket options. And then we need to actually append this. svg dot append child text. Does it need color? Does it need a fill?
Let's see. It needs a fill.
Okay, so let's just take this fill and
I think that should be fine. So let's see where the text is going wrong. Fill. Does it need a font? I wonder.
It's also not, I think I'm wrong on what the inner text is not doing anything. So there's probably something for how you do that in SVG.
Is it, okay, so you did create element NS.
I did create element NS, so it's rendering the text, but there's no like text inside of it. So if I come in here, and I can actually just like probably manually edit one of these. Let's edit as HTML, and then we'll throw in one of these, and then
it's .no.text context. Or is it node, or is it just
text
context?
Content or text?
Context.
Content.
There we go.
Okay. Hey, all right. So this is definitely a little more chaotic than I want it to be. I would like to play with the fonts on this. So let's make it. You said that there's just a font property.
Let me check.
Actually, I don't know that we need that one to be random. So here we can with like text, and then I wonder if that works. And then we can do a text stroke of like 2 pixels solid black. That's not right. Oh, I forget what the. Do you remember off the top of your head what the stroke for a text element is?
I think it's paint order stroke is just what I found from Googling. So you want to stroke outside of the text?
That was the plan, yeah. And then do like a is it stroke color?
Yeah, I think it needs to be a property.
Like it needs to be set in here.
Yeah, set as an attribute.
Okay, so let's
Stroke behind the text.
Let me put that all down.
And then you can specify the stroke of the text.
So we're going to
stroke.
Stroke.
I think it should supposed to be. There we go.
Oh, nice.
That's so good.
Okay, so that Yeah, that works. And then let's make this even a little bit more chaotic and let's play with the rotation a little bit. So we can kind of have
That is
like.
exactly what I was thinking of.
All right, so to do that, I need like a transform, or is there just like a rotation
Transform.
property? Okay.
They are adding a rotation property, but I don't think it's in all browsers yet.
It
Actually, it
seems
is
like it
in all
wouldn't.
browsers yet. Do you want to try that?
Yeah, let's see if we can just like, oops. Oh my god. 90 degrees, that'll turn it sideways if it's working. I don't think it's
So it's going to be
working.
the style, not an attribute.
Oh, okay. So then we want to do text.style dot. Is that no? Or is it just a straight up like a string?
I don't remember how style works. Set style programmatically. Dot style dot no wait. Yeah, it's dot style dot the property, and it's rotate,
Rotate.
not rotation. Does that work?
Oh, oh. Wait, why did that
It
die?
rotated, huh?
Can
I
I?
think it rotated everything like from the baseline.
Oh, weird. Yeah, because look, it's over
So
here
I
now.
think, yeah, I don't know how you
Okay, so
set the
that's not the right thing.
just try doing transform then. Just do
Okay.
transform, rotate.
Text style transform, and we'll say rotate 90 degrees. Oh, I did
No,
the
same
same
thing.
thing. Why don't you?
So I think you need to set the anchor.
Maybe if I set the transform origin to center, it won't do that.
Hmm.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so
Oh, nice.
that keeps the CSS from rebelling by setting the transform point to like the center of the text instead of, I think it must have been up here.
Yeah.
All right, so then we can swap this out to be random. So now we'll set this to be a random range
Range.
between probably like negative 15 and 15 maybe.
Mm.
That way it'll kind of wiggle a little bit. Yeah, there we got some confetti.
Yeah.
And then we want to set the size because these ones you can't set like the radius, right? So we need to jiggle the size. And to do that, is that just a like font size?
I think so.
Okay, and so we'll do a random range of I don't know, let's say 18 to 30. Oh, it's fun.
Is there a difference? I can barely see. I guess there's a little bit of difference.
Let's make it more extreme and see if it's actually working. Yes. Okay. So that's actually, I kind of like it with that more extreme difference anyways.
Mm-hmm.
This is chaos and I love it.
I want this on a shirt.
I mean, this is legitimately like I would have a lot of fun putting this on like a poster or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the whole point, right? Is like you're
Yeah.
making something that you want to see, and if you make something that you like well enough, you can, move it somewhere else, put it out into the world. Let's make this one just a nice color that can sit in the back, and we'll probably make it, saturation can be pretty low. Lightness should be pretty high. And
Ooh,
look at it go.
so nice. So pleasant to look at.
This is really fun. Try just rotate as an attribute. So yeah, I do think that now that we've set this, I think it'll work. So we just need to do this. Yeah. So now that we've set the transform origin, so that was the trick, not necessarily using the rotate. Man, this is fun. All right. So we got about 30 minutes left if we want to try to add anything else in here.
One thing we could do is make it reproducible from just the content. So like not having it so that you have to refresh every time. So we can like share the code pen link to people and like regenerate it every time.
So like give it a seed. So if we put in the same input, it becomes deterministic.
Yeah, or just like have a button to like rerun the algorithm.
Oh yeah,
So that,
okay, I got you. Yeah, let's do that.
because I think on my end the collaborative thing is like not working completely. It's like loading an old version.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's make it work. Well, let me save. And now I didn't realize it.
What happened?
I just realized that you updated all of the descriptions. Okay. So to do that, we would want a button, right? And in our button, we would have like a regenerate. Okay. So I have a button, and we can give this the most basic of styles. We'll just have it do like a display. Or no, we won't even do that. We'll do, I'm going to put it inside of a paragraph so that we don't have to figure out how to center it. Good. And that might be good enough for now, actually. We won't fall down the CSS rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a button.
We have a button. I think we can just wrap it into a function and then call that function from the button.
Okay.
So wrap all our generative text in a function.
Okay. Then we can take all of this part and we'll move it inside here. Okay. And then we'll start with a call to generate art TM. And that gives us our first call. And then we'll do a document. Oops. Document dot query selector. We'll grab the button, and then we'll do on or add event listener. Click, and we can run generate art TM. And because I think this is a good habit to get into, doing it that way will pass in the event to generate art, and like it won't matter in this function, but it's a bad habit because sometimes it does really matter, and it'll trip you up in weird ways. So doing a little closure here instead will avoid that problem. And now,
have you tried regenerating?
oh,
keep doing it.
Okay, so that's gonna end up causing some issues. So we need to clear this thing.
Yeah.
And to do
Clear
that,
all the children.
To clear children, we need to. We just like SVG set or like inner HTML is nothing. Can I just clear it like that? Will that work? Nope. Okay, so to delete all of these, Do I have to like loop through and delete all of these children? Oh wait, inner HTML is all capitalized. No.
I'm just wondering if it's gonna break. If
Yes.
it's, does it work?
It does work.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'm really glad that I'm really glad that worked because I did not want to have to write a loop.
Boop, boop.
Okay, so now we have
Mm-hmm.
generative art, and we can click the heck out
We
of
do.
this and come up with new patterns to our heart's content.
Another aspect of generative art that would be, I think, pretty fun to touch into is adding parameters. So not just being able to make a random thing, but allowing your the people viewing it to change the parameters of
Oh,
what is being generated.
yes.
So this can be everything from like defining a color scale to adjusting the ratios of the square boys and the round boys and all the different kinds of boys.
Okay. So maybe what we can do is let's make this into a form because we'll just be able to use the form data API here to grab all this. And what we can do is set up a label, and we can say let's go with some easy stuff probably. We can do like a range, right? Like
Yeah.
a number of boys, and then we can do an input type range and set a min, and we'll default it to our current values of 100 and max of 500. Name will be boy count. Sure.
That is a very good name for it.
Okay. Oh, but that doesn't actually do what I want because that's the range isn't what I'm after. I'm looking for an actual min max. So we need like a number. And
Yeah, but it's also okay to not specify a range and just have the number of boys be determined by just the value on the slider. So
oh, like let it be fixed. Okay.
yeah, and then you can
So
regenerate every time you change the number on the slider as well.
oh, okay, cool. I was gonna make them click the regenerate button, but you're saying just like listen for changes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's do that. And we'll do an ID then, so we can grab that. And then in here, we'll set up a listener, and that'll be let's see, update on change. That's going to get the event. And then we can say the new value is going to be the event.target.value should be what we're after, I think. And then we would call regenerate, or we'd have to figure out what the field to update is.
You can just add a parameter to generate art for the number of boys, the boy count, and then generate with that boy count.
Okay, so we'll default to, let's say, 200, and then we'll delete that bit, and we're going to use boy count instead. So now it's 200, and that means I should probably set this to 200 by default. Okay. And then we can, the new value is going to be generate art with the new value. And then we can do a document.query selector, and we'll grab boy count and
I love that name.
add event listener. And I think it's just change. And then we can update on change. Okay, so this should remain, oh boy.
Oh no.
What did I do? What is happening? It was like, did you see that like kind of work and then not? Okay,
Yeah.
so what is that?
Just bricked.
So you should be. Did I use a circle count anywhere else? No. Is it just you that causes this problem? Let me comment
It
this.
seems to be working for me. Oh.
Okay, I'm going to save. I'm going to hard refresh. Click the button. What on earth is happening? Oh, I know why. It's because now that form submits because I made it a form. Oh, silly. Okay, there we go. Better now. All right, so that's fine. That's fine. That's just me not being good at code. And we've come to expect that here on Learn with Jason. And now I should theoretically, yes, look at it go. Look at it go. Ha ha ha. Damn it, that's fun. Okay, so this is great too because like what we're getting here is we could even get more clever, right? Where we could do something to the effect of, let's say, here we have the ID, right? And so we could get the like value to change is going to be, we'll say event.target.id. And then what we could do here is we could actually send in like value to change and the new value. And up here, we would update this to be the boy count. So we'd get, we'd have to, let's see, will that work? That should still work, I think. And, oh, it's got to be like this. Okay, so then if we update this, it still works, but we could set another one for, let's say, the font size. Well, let's see. What could we do? Let's do. I guess.
Oh, rotation. How about rotation degree?
Okay, yeah, rotation. So
you can have the things be just like slightly bendy or like just go every which way based on what we want.
Rotation, variance. So we'll go with variance, and that way we can do like plus or minus, up to 90 degrees or something. And we'll say a minimum of 0, so no rotation, and a maximum of 180, which will let them flip upside down. We'll set the value to 15, and we'll call it rotation. Okay, and then we're going to add one of these down in here. I'm going to have to do a default object, I think, and like extend it because I think this is going to break. So then we're going to use, whoops, the rotation variance here and here. Okay, so if I take this one and we'll do rotation variance, whoops. Rotation variance. Then theoretically, if I flip this upside down, it's going to break, and it broke because that means we're missing, I think, the number of boys. Yeah, so we need to change this one down here to be, how about this? We will take this piece out, and we'll set this to values, and then when we destructure, now if one isn't set, it'll fall back for us, and that way we don't have to figure out how to do all the rest of that. So let's, don't you lie to me, that works. Oh, no, it won't, because these need to be equals. Okay, now it works. You gonna work? Crap, what have I done? Okay, we reload. And cannot read properties of undefined, reading boy count. Maybe this needs to default to an empty object. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now, let's see. Lots and lots. Let them flip around. Rotation variance. Rotation variance. Why isn't that working?
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Nice.
And so now we have
extremely rotated boys.
Oh, you have to
To taste.
unfocus to get that to, so the change doesn't trigger if you just edit. You have to like defocus. Yeah. Okay. So that's a problem that we could solve.
Yeah, but that's form stuff and not cool generative stuff. That is boilerplate.
And okay, so we got down.
Yeah. So we got rotating boys. We have number of boys. Is there anything else you want to add? I think we have about 15 minutes left.
We do indeed have about 15 minutes left. If we don't have anything... Oh yeah, people were in the chat like, hey, your form submitting. So this is the problem. I have this very helpful chat and I don't read it. Oh, here's a question. We're getting asked if we can right click and save the downloaded or the generated SVG. I think the answer right now is no. But there would be a way to do that. We probably don't have time to do it right now. Yeah. And to do that, you would need to like grab the SVG content and then set it to, there's a way to send it. You can send the contents as a hinted download, and then your browser will download it as an SVG. So it is possible. We're not going to have time to do it today. If you want to do that and submit it as an exercise for the reader, that would be super, super fun. Okay, chat, you got any more ideas, or should we just call this a resounding success and give ourselves 15 minutes back? Nat, while the chat is thinking, do you have a place where we can look at some of your other art? Because I just realized we didn't show any of it off when we first got onto the stream.
Let's see. Most of the generative art I did was when I was working with components.ai. So if you go to components.ai/art, I think SVG grid is the main one that I worked on.
Like
Dash
that?
grid.
Dash grid.
SVG dash grid. Yeah.
Ooh, cool. Okay, cool. So this is sort of like what a finished version of
Yeah, a
what we
fully
started working
fledged.
on would be.
So you can adjust the width, height. If you get rid of a lot of those symbols, so there's like a bunch of symbols that are coded that Adam Morse, the founder of Component AI, one of the co-founders, did. You can also adjust the color palette. So if you do, I think, add palette on one of the shapes.
Add palette. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so you can
cool.
restrict the color palette. If you switch from shadow tint to scale, and then try to randomize it a couple of times using the refresh button.
Oh, this stuff is so cool. And
Yeah.
like each of these is, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very cool. And then we're increasing the odds of like how likely is it that this shows up in that section. And
Yeah.
if I'm attempting to reverse engineer this, what I think is happening is you're kind of scanning across the SVG and then deciding if each section should have like what shape should it choose, and then grabbing from these settings here to kind of pick something from within the parameters. Is that the gist, at least?
Yeah. And the cool thing about generative stuff is that they can often build on top of each other. A lot of the random functions can be reused. Like this color palette was a separate component for another project that I did with them that you could just import in, and then like it expands the capabilities of this thing. There's also another aspect. If you click on scale on the checkbox, yeah,
Oh,
it'll scale it. And this isn't completely random. It's made using simplex noise, which is a thing that generates basically a Gaussian blur or like a little cloud pattern. So
okay.
it's not completely random, but like the scale is, yeah, like smaller in some sections and like larger in some other sections.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that's
So
like
it
advanced
like
stuff that
gives
you
a
can
real
do.
pattern.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh,
and I
that's
think you
dope.
can, yeah, you have the ability to adjust the scale a bit, so you can have like a very granular, very like large pattern with it. Um, you can use, you don't have to just do a linear random distribution. You can do normal distributions. Um,
That's amazing.
and yeah, so this is another thing that I did recently, which isn't quite like generative art, but uses like a lot of the same um, let me send the link to you.
Okay.
Um, so this is a project I did for Global Game Jam recently. And so the idea was to make a game based on oh, please tell me it works. You should turn the music on.
Let me see if I can.
It should just be the music. Click the music button and turn the shloop on as well. So this is a slime mold simulator. Um, so if
It's
you
like,
click
what happens?
inside,
What is schloop? Oh, I know exactly.
it's shloop. If you click inside of it, you can place food, and the slime will respond to the food. Uh, it's not very good at finding the food, so you have to like place it on top of it, basically. But if you just click on it a bunch of times, it'll like grow faster in that direction. So, yeah, see?
Oh, neat.
So
Look, and
this
now
isn't,
it's like seeking.
yeah.
This is extremely. The schloop is also like hilarious. Uh, um, this is so cool. And so we have one request from the chat, which is to, where is it? Here, which is to put some emojis in this. So
Oh,
let's show how because we're using text, that's actually going to be really simple, and I'm very happy
Mhm.
about that. So we can, I'll hit my emoji button. Which ones are we doing? I'm adding pizza. What else? Everybody name your favorite emoji, and I swear to God, if you do anything gross, you're banned. I can't do any Twitch emoji. It has to be like standard emoji.
Yeah,
Let's see. I'm gonna add. Let's add a spicy pepper.
because
Let's
we're going
add.
for a food theme.
Yeah, we're now going
Um,
food theme. We got a request
can
for
we
a
do
taco.
can we do ramen?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, and so now we should start seeing these immediately, like showing up. So we've got food and code all kind of mixed in together, and like I think this is so cool how fast you can put together ideas like this, and how quickly you can remix this. You know, like if you
Mhm.
wanted to build an all over print or something for a t-shirt, and you had a series of images that were like brand images, you can just throw them in here and put them on the screen and just regenerate until you find one that you like. You can like let's bump up the rotation a little bit. Let's increase the number. Now that's way too many. Let's decrease the number, and you just start to find things that look the way that you want. And you can like drop things in and out until you get something that you're happy with. I think this is so much fun. Food and boys. But yeah, this is just wonderful.
Mhm.
So bubble tea. Okay, yeah, bubble. We got to put a bubble tea in. You're right. I haven't had a
Is
bubble
that a
tea in
good
so
idea?
long.
It's this is all like savory foods, and then bubble tea is like a sweet food, you know?
Ooh, ooh, that's a good
Maybe
point.
you can pick your palette. This is homework. This is we can
Yeah, this
share
is
the code pen, and then we can be like, pick a palette and pick like food that fits the palette. Um,
yes. That I mean exactly, right? So you could even set this as like different types. So you could do code theme, you could do like savory themed, sweet themed, and then have a theme switcher here to choose
mhm,
which group you're going to use, and you'd be able to change that, down here where we're grabbing our pieces. You'd be able to just switch this up to have a little function that would look for which theme you're using and then grab from the subset, right? So lots and lots of ways to remix it. Chat, I hope you have a lot of fun playing with this and remixing it yourselves, because there's so many, like the possibilities here are endless. And I think another thing that would be a fun exercise for someone to do on their own time would be to change this from being completely random with math.random to maybe using a random number generator, so that if you put
mhm,
the same seed in, you would always get the same output, which would make these shareable. Like if you get one that you really like, you could get a link that would, I don't know, like here's the art with the query parameter of, seed 1 2 3 4, and everybody who looks at that link will see the same generated art until they change the seed, which is a really cool way to make this stuff um, generative and also shareable, which I think is
mhm.
really, really fun. Okay, so with that, I don't think we've got time to add anything else. Chad, thank you for all the ideas today. And Nat, thank you so much for taking some time out of your
Yeah, you're
day
welcome.
to
This
teach
was a
us.
blast.
I had so much fun. I cannot wait to keep playing with some of these ideas. For anybody who wants to do more with this, do you have any resources, any other inspiration, anywhere I should send people who want to keep going?
You can check out my website, tesseralis.site. It is. I just revamped it. It is what I call Math Professor Core. It's just a link to all the stuff that I've done. Yeah. Do you want to show people my polyhedra viewer? Because that's the
Oh,
first thing that.
yes.
Yeah, this is
This
the main project that got me to fame, I guess.
It's so good. And so
Uh,
this what do you think is the best thing to demo here?
just pick any of them.
All right,
They're all
I'm
great.
I'm jumping in. And so this is like rotated 3D polyhedra, and then you can start doing wild stuff. Oh, I love this so much. Look at it, y'all. Like, look how freaking cool this is. Um, I just, and all of this is done. Actually, how did you build this one? Is this,
How did I build it? This is React, and I was using this thing called X3DOM, which
okay.
is real, uh, pretty much like 3D as SVG, um, but it's also like very weird and like very like outdated and restrictive. So I actually have a new version of this that's built using 3JS. So
Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
and we've done a little bit with 3JS on the show. For more on this, let me actually pull up. Here's the episode we did with Shar Styles. If you want to see how to do this with like a shader, and then 3JS, we have an intro with Sarah Drasner. If you want to get your head around how 3JS works, if you want to start playing with more powerful stuff like building something like this. And that, I think, is all the time we have. Nat, thank you so much again for hanging out with us. Any final words for the chat before I wrap us up?
Uh, Thank you so much. It's been a blast. You can find me on the website, but also on my Twitter is at Tesseralis, where I usually just post random thoughts and complain about the modern front-end web development stack. um,
Let me throw a link
yeah.
into there. And all right, chat, we are going to go find somebody to raid. Thank you all again for hanging out. I just screwed up that link. That's the right one. We will see you all next time.
Did you share the